It's Weather for Weather Geeks time. Good Wednesday evening, everyone. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here, and this is the Mahoning and Shenango Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. If you're new to these videos, I've been doing these a long time, over 10 years now, but I have a growing audience on YouTube, and you may be watching from somewhere outside of my television market. I'm a television meteorologist in Youngstown, Ohio, and so these videos cover a lot of eastern Ohio and western PA weather, but we branch out and talk about other weather happenings across the country and even sometimes across the world, and we also talk about general science and astronomy and things like that occasionally as well in these videos. We're going to focus mostly on the weather in this video because we've got plenty of things to talk about in the near term and the longer range. We'll talk about some updated model information for the summer season coming up at the tail end of this video. In the meantime, it was a warm start to the day today, and today's big number is 67. That was the low this morning at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport, making it our warmest night since early last September. That's, what, about 9 months since we've had a night that did not get below 67 degrees. It's because the air mass is so juicy. These dew points are well up into the 60s. We even touched 70 briefly, the dew point temperature at the Youngstown Warren Airport this afternoon. And in our latitude, in our climate zone, this is pretty uncomfortable, I should say, for most of us. We wouldn't think anything of this if we were in Orlando or even Atlanta, but around here that's pretty soupy stuff. But some changes are occurring off to our west. Our cold front is slicing through parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes this evening, and the dew point has dropped 12 degrees since this same time yesterday in Chicago. The number's even bigger in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're going to see similar changes coming up here during the course of our Thursday. Now, today's forecast, it was a little bit of a bust for a time. Midday and afternoon today, this light rain lingered longer than I, kind of counted on into the afternoon. In fact, I had to bust out the umbrella when I walked into work today from my car. It was raining at a pretty good clip in downtown Youngstown. Again, that really wasn't expected. Maybe a sprinkle or two, a touch of rain, but legitimate downpours, not really on the menu for today, but that's what we had at times, morning and midday. Now, we've had a dry period over the last few hours, but as of this recording at 7:10, we have an approaching line of showers and thunderstorms. Now, if you've been following the forecasts for the last couple of days, we've been highlighting how there's a low-end severe weather risk with our late-day shower and thunderstorm activity today. The risk has definitely decreased over the last several hours, partly because we were stuck in the clouds and we had the raindrops longer than anticipated, so that helps stabilize the atmosphere. But also, there's just not much energy in the atmosphere this evening. In other words, there's not a lot of wind shear aloft, so the risk for organized convection, really stout thunderstorms that can bring down strong winds from aloft, those ingredients just aren't coming together. So this is all pretty garden variety. But that being said, some tropical downpours with this juicy of an atmosphere, that'll be a possibility this evening. Some loud thunder at times. These waves of showers and storms that'll push in over the next couple hours will be with us for a fair amount of the night tonight. I think we'll finally lose the last of them by about daybreak at the latest tomorrow morning, and our Thursday should get off to a dry start for most folks. Now, tomorrow is kind of our first whoosh day of the summer season, where the dew points are going to drop pretty dramatically. I like showing these animations during the summer season, showing the soupy air mass getting replaced by a much more comfortable air mass by tomorrow afternoon. Those dew points drop from the upper 60s into the lower 50s. Now, that being said, even though it'll be a more comfortable air mass tomorrow afternoon, I think there will be enough instability in the atmosphere that a few pop-up showers are going to be a possibility midday and into the afternoon. It's going to be one of those things where not everyone's going to see a shower, but if you do, you could get a downpour for 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll have kind of a similar thing going on Friday. Perhaps even a more pronounced little trough pivoting through the Great Lakes. This is all underneath an area of low pressure aloft, a cut-off low pressure system that is going to be stuck over the Great Lakes for a handful of days. It's going to keep us cool, and with little spokes, like spokes on a wheel, rotating around that upper level low, there's going to be some showers here and there Friday, mainly midday and afternoon, probably a little more numerous than Thursday. Now, the good news for the weekend is our Saturday forecast is pretty nice, actually, with a mix of sun and clouds. We've restricted any rain chances Saturday now to late in the day, towards the evening, into the overnight, as this next wave comes through. It's going to take, I think, until pretty late in the day Saturday, into Saturday night. It's early June and it's a Saturday. There's a lot of graduation parties and weddings and things going on Saturday that involve people being out and about and outdoor activities. So forecast is important, and we think the large chunk of Saturday will be okay. And I think the lion's share of Sunday will be fine as well. The best chance for rain over the weekend is likely going to be Saturday night. Now, Friday night, we have the Scrappers home opener taking on Frederick at 7:05 p.m. at Eastwood Field in Trumbull County, and it's going to be a little on the cool side. Temperature is not much better than the mid-60s. You'll notice our rain chances here, low. I think the scattered shower regime that we'll have for the afternoon will really start waning as we head towards 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. And so maybe there's a residual sprinkle or a shower, but the vast majority of Friday evening should be just fine. All right, so let's take a look at some longer range stuff here. First thing we'll do is I want to show you one model depiction of temperatures over the next 15 days, 16 days. This is what we call the European Ensemble forecast for temperatures all the way through June 20th. Now, we've been talking about this pattern change during the middle of the month that I think is on track. I think it's going to get a lot hotter in about 9, 10 days. And, there's some 86-degree readings on this way out into the future, 17th, 18th, 19th of the month. And when you have an ensemble product like this, showing temperatures that warm, there's individual parts of that model system, members we call them, that go into the ensemble that are even warmer than this. If the average is 86, out of all those parts of that ensemble forecast, there's going to be some members that have even hotter temperatures. I think it's going to be possible that we'll see some 90s during the second half of the month, starting around Father's Day weekend and taking us through the rest of June. And actually, I still think that the summer on balance is going to go into the record books as a pretty hot one. This is what we call the European Seasonal Outlook. These come out the 5th day of every month, and basically it's from the European Center for Medium Range Forecasting. The Euro is what we oftentimes abbreviate that model system as. And on the 5th of the month, this gives us a peek at what that model system is predicting by the month and even by the season we can look at. These are temperatures for June, and here's July, and here's August. This really, shows the ideas that we've been, kind of harping on with our summer forecast for a little while now, that the middle two, or I should say the middle of summer and the last 1/3 of summer, in other words, August, are likely to be pretty hot after a not so hot start to the summer season. The model is really trying to advertise a sprawling ridge, giving a hot summer to a lot of the country, perhaps centered in the western U.S. It could be an excessively hot summer in places like Omaha, Kansas City, Denver, Albuquerque, Salt Lake City, places like that. But I think even though the heat may be centered in those locations, we are in for some hot times around here, I think, this summer as well. As far as precipitation, we'll take a look at that real quickly here. Here's a look at the European model depiction for the summer season. Precipitation compared to average June, July, and August. Not only a hot summer, but a dry summer along the spine of the Rocky Mountains. I do think with a ridge, let me redraw this, with a ridge trying to be centered out here, you're going to get a fair amount of what we call ridge riding thunderstorms going over the top of that ridge, originating in Canada and across North Dakota and Minnesota, places like that. And you're going to see clusters of storms trying to cascade south and east. So this could be a pretty active summer despite the heat in a place like St. Louis, in Chicago, in Milwaukee, Indianapolis. Now, as far east as the Youngstown area and into Pennsylvania, I'm not as confident that we'll have a lot of ridge riding thunderstorms this summer, but it'll be a hot, stormy summer, I think, in a lot of the Mississippi Valley heading into the upper Midwest as well. So the long-range modeling that we got access to today kind of, is showing some of the same ideas that we've been talking about lately, including on my summer forecast, which we outlined a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have more updates on that longer range outlook, of course, in future editions of Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll have updates on social media this evening on our incoming showers and storms. And if you're up late tonight, join us on 21 News at 11 for the latest forecast for tonight and for the rest of the week as well.